Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 34, round number 5 here as we head to the Red Bull Ring in Austria. The hills are definitely alive tonight around the Styrian Mountains. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me once again is James Head. James, how you doing?
I am doing very, very well, Jess. Fresh back off, of course, Qatar, where we had no steward reports, which I think is absolutely brilliant. That's the first thing we can start off with tonight in reporting. And that means, because there's no steward reports, we can get pretty much quickly into the action. The drivers are going to ready up very soon indeed. But yeah, Austria, completely different kettle of fish. It's going to be very interesting, and I have a feeling we're going to get back to where we were 2 weeks ago.
Yes, and if you missed last week, you saw Kazizel take a very great victory. His first win in a few years, actually, in the PSGL. 1 point is the difference between himself and Markados in the championship. 34 points to Kazizel's 33. And with Bradders not here, it's around a 3-point gap separating the pair of them as well. I believe I'm trying to remember if Bradders is here tonight. Yes, he is. So he is back in the Alpine tonight. All 3 championship contenders are here tonight. I think it's going to get epic and epic as the season goes on. And obviously with the new calendar changes, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, that could spice things up even more.
It can indeed, and Jerry Van Bussel, remember, is only 4 points off the top as well, so throw him into the mix, and he was very consistent, of course, in F2 last season. I believe he won here last season, if I'm not mistaken, as well, the Jerry Van Bussel. And of course, you may see on the standings there, they're part of Talent Factory. They're not. PSR now is the main... The 3 letters that are on our lips right now because of that merge with Talent Factory. If you didn't see it, I was doing WR commentary on Friday night, and it happened about 2 hours before I was due to go live. And that PSR Talent Factory merger, I think, is for the best. I hope it is for the best. I wish them all luck in terms of that. But it means we have to get used to the likes of PSR Keen and PSR Max being out on track rather than the Talent Factory moniker underneath their names. But with, as you say, Jess, the standings being 4 points separating the top 4 coming into tonight and having, 3 different winners out of 4 races, I think it puts up potentially for a very good race. And there may even be a threat of rain as well.
Yeah, I experienced it when I did my first ever PC commentary since season 30, where it was raining qualifying and raining the race. But I pray to God that it doesn't happen here and we get a dry race like we've done in PCF2, which was quite close in qualifying, actually. Well, PSF2, quite close in qualifying, with a 103.0 was the pole time as well. But in terms of strategy, it's going to be interesting. More of a one-stop, less tire degradation compared to the other tracks. Qatar is obviously heavy in terms of tyre wear and temperature. And, I just put the biggest commentator's curse of my life. You'll probably see it in a minute. But it is raining in qualifying. Not as much as PCF2 on Thursday, I've got to admit. But it is raining, let's just say. So it's not going to be like PSF2.
It's not. And I think my reaction on the stream just tells it all for what we're going to witness potentially in qualifying there as well. And that actually brings about a very important question. Who has practiced for the rain and who is strong in the rain as well in qualifying? Normally in qualifying, if it's intermediate compounder tyres, which I think it is, it's going to be about 6 or 7 seconds off the pace. We should be seeing more 108s, 109s, I think, in terms of potential pole position. Maybe even 107s at a real push as well. But this really now brings about who is going to be... It separates basically the rain, the men from the boys.
Yes, indeed. And it's one of the tracks where it's a lot easier in the wet, to be fair. So if it was going to rain, then this was one of the tracks where it could potentially throw out some really good racing. But Mubarak is back tonight after a few weeks off on a break, so great to see him here racing at PSGL once again. The pad goat, who was in F3 last season for a bit, then moved over to F1, but I think he's come back energised, ready for the rest of the season. The tracks have been announced for what's going to happen after Austria, and I think he's ready for it. He feels like he wants a new challenge as well coming into this. And yeah, it should be very exciting. And just because he's so exciting, he's the first man out on track, as you can see, out in the Syrian mountains currently. So he wants to get going very, very quickly. First using Formula One, by the way, back in 1970, where it used to be the Austria ring. Then it was the A1 ring back in 1997. Up until, I think, 2003, and then it was the Red Bull Ring back from 2014. But I'll let you take through more work to that around the Red Bull Ring in the Rat.
Yeah, let's ride on board with them. Coming through the Niki Lauda curve at turn number 1, now running up the hill past the MotoGP layout on the left-hand side, the chicane on the left-hand side, and then up, of course, in towards Remus at turn number 3. And it's 17-1 in the first sector. Not too bad, but you get very hard on the brakes. Catch the outside curve there. Nearly get sent spinning like Mubarak nearly proved there. But out of turn number 3 at Remus, on the run down in towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold, you've got a Mercedes there on the right-hand side. I believe that might be Stefano, who's just backing up potentially in front of him. But Mubarak now coming to the right-hand of Schlossgold at turn number 4. Looking very, very much on the edge, I've got to say, coming through there. Now through turn 5 and in towards Pirelli curve at turn number 6. Then we embark towards the end of this middle sector. And again, running very, very wide. 49 flat in the middle sector. You'd be seeing 44s in the drives, I think, through the middle sector there as Mubarak now comes through the right-hander of the Verth curve at turn number 8. And then in towards the Jochen Rindt curve at turn number 9. Get out of the way there on the right-hand side. The Red Bull just about getting out of the way of Mubarak on the run toward the final couple of corners, though, through the Red Bull Mobile curve at turn number 10. And Mubarak then finishing off on this lap. It's a 1:10.5. Have a feeling we'll see a lot quicker than that as the session progresses, but we are going to see potentially drivers going for more than one lap on this set of intermediate compounded tyres. With Mubarak out on top, Louis Valentin in second, and Tim currently in third, who hasn't set a lap time just yet.
That is a good point, actually, as well, because bearing in mind they do not have much intermediates to play with compared to the dry tyres, and if it's going to be raining in the race as well, these next laps they do in qualifying is very crucial to get some rubber in the track and get some practice in, because some people, as you said, may not put the best of practice in the wet conditions. Usually I don't as well, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Marcados, who's currently our championship leader by 1 point, he heads towards turn number 4, the place where we saw Lewis Hamilton and Albon collide, Perez and George Russell collide through turn 4 as well. So many instances through there. We saw some very great moves in PSGL races gone by too, as we're seeing more lap times on the board. Marlon recently moved to NLR as his new esports team, and I wonder if that's going to give him a new lease of life. We'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about that just in a few moments' time. But Margados, he's now on older rubber. Let's see if that will make a difference up to the line, and that puts him third fastest.
Yeah, third fastest, which is not too bad, I've got to say. Mubarak coming through the final corner. Looks like he's going for another push lap in behind, trying to save a bit of that ERS. But he can save a lot of ERS here in the intermediate conditions. Obviously 17.2 from Louis Valentin in the first sector, just around a ball with him. Black Box there going fourth as well. The first of the PSR, man, which is going to be very, very difficult to say for us here in commentary. But it's Marlon out on top. Yossi now in second. The Frenchman flying there. Of course, another one that has joined PSR recently with the merge with Talent Factory, which again has been all the rage in recent weeks. Looking through as well, Jerry Van Bussel is coming through the final couple of corners. He's not on a lap at this moment in time. Kazizel as well, who won last time out in Qatar. He's actually ran wide and validated through the final corner, so to this next lap in validation for Kazizel. But Kian is looking quick through the middle sector. 49 flat in the middle sector. Can we see resemblance? And can we see a reformed and re-energized Kian on the run to the line? Just so, 10.5, not a bad lap there at all, but he can improve definitely. And Kian, I was shocked to find that he's down in 15th position currently in the standings. For a man that was pretty much towards the top end of the field last season in PSF1, it's disappointing.
Yeah, it is. And he was looking good in the social races as well. And we always see that in the beginning of the game cycle. Oh, this driver's going to do well because he's done well in pre-season. Take Jensen, for example, a few seasons ago. He was tipped to do well in the main season. That didn't materialise. Maybe we're seeing the same with him. Or maybe he's just having some bad luck, which is possible at the moment. And the one thing I'm finding it difficult at the moment is because they're going on more laps on a set of those intermediate sides, it's making it so hard to find out, who's on the push lap and who's not. So we're just going to have to keep on board with them and hope for the best. So Jay Van Bussel up to the line. It is P1, a 110.12, a very controlled in the final corner, in fact, as well. I think we could see, I think one of the Red Bulls, that's Marlon, who's came up to the line. I think he's going to start another push run. I think one of the Alfa Romeos has gone on. Oh, Marlon has had a Tokyo Drift and a half going through the middle of turn 1 there, and he's almost going through the MotoGP chicane, which you can see in at the background as well. And the Alfa Romeo just about avoided him there. One of the Aston Martins is going into the pit lane, but there's one person that could be on a lap. It's Markados. Let's see if he could go fastest. 1 shy of Jerry Van Bussel there in P2.
Yeah, he's a little way off, actually, in the middle sector, Markados. And he's a 10th.5 down there on Jerry Van Bussel. Jerry proving he is a master of the wet, as well as in the dry round here in Austria. And, I mean, he was F2 last season, dominated around here last season in Austria. He took the race win in PSF2. And he's currently on pole position in PSF1, which I think will give him and the PSR team a lot of confidence, I think, moving forward on the PlayStation side. I was on board with Tim there. He was up in the first sector. He was up in the middle sector and then decided to come in the pit lane. The cheeky little so-and-so there down in 9th position. Lars as well is currently on a lap. He's just preparing up, I think, for a run. He's 4/10 down at this moment in time. I think Nando potentially could be the next one on a run as well. He's in the middle sector at this moment in time, coming out of Slush Gold at turn number 4 and then into the left-hander of turn number 6. And we'll see what he can do in terms of that time, but he doesn't look like he's anywhere near Jerry Van Bussel, Markados, Yossi sort of area, and yeah, he's 1.2 seconds down, so he's not on a push lap there, so he will be coming, I think, back into the pit lane. And Blackbox, who was, P5, I think, earlier on in the session, now finds himself unlucky for some down in 13th position, only with one valid lap time on the board with a 110.7, just comes to show if you've got a little bit of clear track, what difference it can make in terms of the lap. As Kazizel's on a lap down towards turn number 4 and has a huge snap of oversteer into the corner.
Yes, I think Kazizel is going to carry a bit of confidence knowing that he could potentially win a few more races this season. It's a track that he's got on well with in the past, but sometimes can show a bit of unluckiness in himself. He's done well in that middle sector. He's saying he's purple out of the drivers around him, but he hasn't set a lap yet. He was struggling to get a lap together, but we will see if the race winner from last week can continue his winning ways as he goes up to the line right now in that Alfa Romeo, and that only puts him P15 right now. And we thought that in the rain is going to spread the drivers out a little bit. It's not at all, because it was gone for a little bit of a spin in towards turn number 1, which I think is not the ideal place to be in currently, but luckily he got the car stopped just in time. Ryderdale is on a lap as he heads towards turn number 4 now as well. A few drivers commenting about how they felt about tonight's race. Fuller Congan is finding this track difficult, even though it's 10 corners, which I can see what he means by that, and it's hard to hook a good lap, and we're seeing these with all the drivers that there's a lot of invalidations. We even pointed it in our notes that track limits can be the deciding factor, like we saw in Qatar. Not that much of a deciding factor, but enough for people to possibly pick even more penalties. And I think the drivers to watch out for turns 1, 4, 6, 8, 9 and turns 10 can be the points of the circuit where warnings or even penalties can be picked up. San Gamer, by the way, is reserving once again. Great to see him in the car. Recently got promoted to Parnell Racing as well. Didn't talk much about that last week because he wasn't racing. But now we get to see what he's really made of in this league in his new colours.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a really good move from being there down in, 16th position right now, but moving to Parnell, I think is going to give him a hell of a lot of confidence, I think, moving forward. Ryderdale, by the way, you were mentioning about track limits there. I was watching the entirety of his lap, and he went wide coming through turn number 9, and that's why he's down with the 110.9 and 17th. Mubarak there going second as well. Bradders is looking pretty quick, though. Mr. Bradley Holdham, pro exhibition man, coming through the final couple of corners on the run toward the line, and he goes, well, I said he looked quick. That's a 110.666. That's 14th position from the Alpine further down in the field. Tom as well is just on a lap as well, but he's actually invalidated through the middle sector. Coming through the final couple of corners now, he is. But it's Jerry Van Bussel out on top, and Jerry Van Bussel's looking to try and stamp his authority. Currently out on track. Now through Pirelli curve at turn number 6, and he is up on his time by 0.5 of a second through the middle sector. This is lightning quick from the Dutchman as he now comes in towards the right-hander of turn number 9 at Verth Curve. This is absolutely electric from Jerry Van Bussel. Some gamer there going second, not for long, because everyone's just going to be sitting in the wake of Jerry Van Bussel. As long as he stays within the white lines, he's going to go pole position by an absolute country mile. Jerry to the line, 9.6. Brilliant lap time by Jerry Van Bussel. And do you know what? I'm just going to say it now. That's pole position right there.
Well, that is a bold statement from Jerry Van Bussel to go 5 tenths quicker than his nearest rival, Sam Gamer, which I have to say is pretty incredible. But I have to say it is getting a bit lighter out on the circuit. We are starting to see people think about putting some soft rubber on. It'll be a bit too early to go on it yet, but we are starting to see the track ramp up a bit. Markados now goes into second position. I think we have a Williams, or no, he's going into the pits. Never mind. We've got Tom, who's gone into the pits as well. So I think we've got a few more people thinking, right, am I making the right decision by staying out on circuit? It stopped raining. It stopped raining, James. I had a feeling this was going to happen. This was probably why Jerry Van Bussel went 5 tenths quicker than anyone else. I knew the track was ramping up. I didn't think the track will be ramping up this fast.
It is. There's a little spot of rain there coming into the pit lane, but it is pretty much stopped. But it's now the case of how fast does this track dry in the dry conditions. With this cloud cover, I think it's going to take a little bit longer than what people might think there at home. I think it's going to take potentially towards the end of the session. That's why you see majority of guys coming in the pit lane. Nobody at this moment in time, as Mubarak there goes second, so he's still improving on that set of inters. It's still inters right now, but if this track dries out in the next 2 or 3 minutes, it is going to be dry running, and it's going to be the case of last man across the line will get pole position potentially. So Jerry Van Bussel's sitting pretty there out in front. But when it comes down to dry pace, he hasn't been up there throughout the season. So you've got to take your attention looking maybe to Mubarak, maybe to Yossi, maybe to Markados, the championship leader there in P5 at the minute. He's currently P1, of course, in the standings. Kazizel, Bradders, Black Box, all up there in the standings, all currently a little bit by the wayside. Black Box especially, with Kazizel down in 17th and 18th position. But it's just how quick now this track dries. I'm on board with Mubarak just on an on lap here, or a down lap even. The track is dry, but it's still wet in parts, just off line, and it's taken a hell of a lot longer to actually dry the track, which means it could be the classic case, Jess, of last person across the line gets pole position.
And it could mean that people may be forced to going on the inters, or there may be people being brave little souls and going on the soft tyres. So what I'll be doing at the moment, because, you know, you and me, we both league race in different leagues, of course. We know that if it's changeable conditions like this, we would look through our deltas and think, right, if it's coming down at a rate of knots, I know it'll be the perfect time to come out. I think when it's around about 9 tenths slower, and then it goes 8 tenths, 7 tenths, I'm like, right, I'm going to be going out and going on soft. Because by the time I get into the final corner, turns 9 and 10, it'll be bone dry. Ooh. And DRS will be open.
Interesting here. First man out on track for the final runs is Jerry Van Bussel, but he's gone onto a set of intermediate compounded tyres, and these are fresh inters as well. And everyone else, I've got the tyre graphic up, and I can see who's selecting the tyres. Mubarak, Marlon, Sam Gamer, Ryan, Tim Lars, Bradders, Black Box, Kazizel and Tom. Correct me if I'm wrong, Louis Valentine's just got onto a set of softs as well. So they are all selecting a set of soft compounded tyres currently in there in the pit lane. Sam Gamer's just selected the tyres as well. So this is going to be fascinating. Everyone else that's in the pit lane currently, assume they're on a set of softs. Jerry Van Bussel being very risky, I think, here, and going on the set of inters, as Tom is the first one to venture out on a set of softs. But I've got to be honest, that track has not dried much.
So I wonder if Jerry Van Bussel's probably read the weather correctly, or maybe the game is being unpredictable. You never know, it could dry up with I think a few seconds to spare, but it may not be enough for any of these drivers. But fair play to the likes of Tom, because he's always venturing out on the softs as well. Brad is going on inters, Lars on softs, Ryder's out on softs. Pretty much most people are going out on softs, unless you're Jerry Van Bussel or Bradders. You do not have long to go until the end of this qualifying, so they've got to think on their feet really as well, and it's going to be very crucial in terms of time management too. If they get this wrong, their tire's going to be absolutely cooked during their lap, and they could be sent into an absolute frenzy. So we're going to watch Jay Van Bussel on his lap first. Everybody is out on circuit. I couldn't catch who was the last driver. It wasn't out from Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
So I need to figure out which Aston Martin it is. It's more Borak. So more Borak's the last man out on circuit. Could he be the man who could get pole position? Well, let's see what Jay Van Bussel could do. I think we could be in for a lobby restart here, because Pride Place Grid putting out illegal blocking. We could see a lobby restart, but was Jay Van Bussel heads towards turn number 1. It's still pretty damp. Yeah, we got another one as well. Yeah, I won't be surprised if we could have a lot more to talk about.
DRS enabled.
DRS enabled. So has Jerry Van Bussel timed it absolutely wrong here? I don't know. But let's see what he could do. I think I'm going to call it right now, James. More Borak's going to be pole.
I don't know who's going to be pole. It's a bit like Monza 2021. Remember where everyone was just trying to find a bit of track? It's literally like that in the final sector. It's like a parking lot coming through the Red Bull Mobile Curve at turn number 10. Yossi's just had his front wing taken off there by Williams, and I think that might have been Louis Valentin potentially just preparing up for a lap. It wasn't. It was Tim, the other one. Yossi's got damage on his right side end plate because Tim has actually... Sorry, it's Tim that's got the damage, not Yossi. Tim has had contact with somebody else.
Look at that
Jerry Van
traffic.
Bussel, there was the... It is absolutely manic. It's like literally rush hour on the A19 as Jerry Van Bussel goes quickest, 108.8. Sorry to Jerry for going on board, off board with him, but Barak hasn't got a lap time in. He's actually the final one not to set a lap time. Everyone else is now on a lap on a set of softs, and everyone is literally trying to find... It's a bit like a race. They're trying to find the slipstream. They're trying to find a bit of traction somewhere, and it's all the case of who wants it most.
Marcados purple in the middle sector. Sorry to cut you off, but this could be the pole lap. He's got some clear air in front of him, which is huge. And there's also, I think, a Williams behind him as well. He's also got some clear air. So these could be one of the two drivers that could get pole today. Marcados up to the line. And it's pole. 1 at 8.528. Let's see what the Williams could do. Oh, Bradders, it's the Alpine. Actually, Sam goes fastest. There's a lot of people going across the line. It's hard to keep up as Tom has been sent to a spin. Yossi's got pole. Stefano second, Marlon in third. And let's see, Tom, who won it last week, is he going to get pole now?
No, I think it was third. I think it was third for Tom.
No, last.
Bollock.
Invalid.
Last.
So sorry about that. It was so hard to keep up. There was a train of cars. I am going to find out if we're getting a lobby restart, by the way, because usually if we get illegal blocking, that is the case. So I will find out for you at the moment. But we're going to see. So Yossi is out on top. 8 thousandths was the gap between first and second. And then we got Stefano in third. Marlon fourth. Sangamer in fifth place. Lars in sixth. Brad 7th. Nando 8th. Ryan in 9th. Margados 10th. We got Kian Kazizel, Max Ryderdout, Louis Van Bussel. Van Bussel is not last, which is great to see. Black Box, more Borak, Tim, and then Tom didn't get a lap time. And he got 2 illegal blocking penalties. And I can confirm we do have a lobby restart, as confirmed by Connor and Ryan. So plenty more stuff to talk about. But before we head to a brief break, let's have a quick word from our sponsor, GT Omega. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSF1 for a little bit because we do have a lobby restart, but we have plenty of stuff to talk to you about for the rest of the season because, as you probably noticed recently, a new calendar was announced for pretty much the next 5 rounds after Austria. So we're going to talk that very briefly right now. So next week, next Monday, the PSF1 drivers will be at Suzuka in Japan. Then we head to Imola for round number 7. Then Spa for round number 8, a personal favourite of mine. Round number 9 takes us to Jeddah. And then we got Mexico for round number 10. And I believe after that, we will have 2 more rounds of the season. It is scheduled to end, I think, around about the end of October-ish is where we would, no, end of October. Beginning of October. October 2nd is the last date for PSF1. So, yeah, take a look at this calendar. A mixture of really great circuits, but there's one notable theme that I'm seeing around these circuits, James. They're all very technical.
They are all very technical, but they're also very overtaking driven as well. Suzuka, maybe not so much. I drove there on Saturday and picked up P4 somehow in Division 4 of League of Europe. I'm just going to throw the league out there just to give them a full credit. But Suzuka, I think, is the only one. Yes, it's technical, but there's hardly any overtaking to be had around there. Imola, Spa, Jeddah, and then Mexico all are very much overtaking. We saw what happened in Jeddah on WR PCF1. Need I remind everyone what it was like last night? I'm not, because I'm not going to talk about the standards of driving there. But hopefully, it is going to be very technical for our drivers as well. And do you know what? There's some really familiar favourites in there. We've got the Emilia-Romagna circuit as well, of course, in Imola. And rest in peace, the Imola Cat as well, that passed away today. That famously cursed Sebastian Vettel when he was in the Ferrari days. I think it was in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, where he cursed him. The Cat sadly passed away on the Imola circuit, and yeah, it is a sad thing for that to happen. But Imola there, round 7, going to be very, very much historic. Spa as well, longest track on the F1 calendar, the dinosaur track, as I like to call it in commentary. They're in P8, of course. And then round 9 and 10, Jeddah and Mexico. It's going to be very interesting to see how our drivers have to cope with that. And of course, 2 more rounds yet to be given. I am just going to put it out there as well. I have a feeling Singapore potentially could be on the calendar. I've not heard any rumours whatsoever. I think Singapore, if they want to add a technical track, that is more technical, I think, than any of those, I think, combined. So Singapore, potentially a one for the final 2 rounds, Jess?
I can see why they're delaying it a little bit because they potentially might be waiting for the Singapore layout to be updated. I think many leagues, including ones I am a part of, are probably waiting until maybe September, October to potentially do the Singapore Grand Prix as well. But imagine if that doesn't happen, even if it doesn't update. So hopefully we get to see it update. So I think both of us could agree that we could see Singapore, but you never know. Connor may think, nah, we should do something else instead, and they may save it for a future season. What other track do you think, because I think we've got 2 possibilities, what other track do you think we could see on the calendar for season 34 as the potential season finale? What do you think will be a good season finale? Obviously, we can't see the tracks that we've seen before, so we can't pick Brazil. I could definitely see if they fix Las Vegas, maybe Las Vegas, I don't know, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough call to see what tracks could be on there, but yeah. Maybe Portugal could be thrown in there. Portugal's been known for esports before in challenges being a good race. I don't know, it's tough to call. Be interesting to hear your thoughts in the chat.
Portugal gets my nod of approval because I absolutely love the Algarve International Circuit. It is such a good circuit to drive around. It's very, very technical. It is off camber as well. It is uphill, downhill. They call it the roller coaster, actually, in Portugal at that track. And it really is, especially through that middle sector. Coming in towards turn number 10, it is nicknamed the roller coaster section because you go up and then you go down in towards the end of the middle sector. It's such a technical track, and I am forever indebted. My first league racing commentary was around there ever. And I'm forever indebted to that track, and I've driven around there before. I'm doing it in a couple of weeks' time in my league that I'm competing in as well, so that's going to be very fascinating. Connor there saying in the chat, we're not going to get Singapore. We are saving Singapore for when it's updated. I heard on the rumour mill it's going to be around October. They're going to be bringing that in, potentially before the F2 update and all of the sporting livery updates and everything else that can be added in, which makes sense, I think. Monaco at night, I'm going to throw out there. Very unpopular opinion, I think, there in the chat, I hope. But Monaco at night, potentially. I'm just throwing it out there because it's Legacy Divisions round 1 next week, and that is at night as well, so it's going to be
You're dropping
very
other leagues like no tomorrow, Jane.
Evan put it right. I'm dropping them like it's M&M, but I'm not dropping them. There's M&M. But yeah, there's a lot of other tracks that we haven't really covered, to be honest. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Zandvoort, potentially. We haven't seen Zandvoort this season. That's normally a good track through Skyflack, of course. Monza. I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. Qatar we've already had, of course. We can't have that. Abu Dhabi. People are forgetting about Abu Dhabi. That could be an interesting one. Potentially a season finale track. There's a lot of tracks that we haven't covered. Australia as well, I think, could be an interesting one. Just throw it out there as well. But yeah, let me know your opinions in the chat. Let us know your opinions in the chat. Real LTE is saying, let's see a Volakongan W here now. Hopefully we do. And actually, we're getting into the race. So we are about to get going very soon indeed. And for everyone, for the weather, it is dry.
Well, it's not loaded for me on my end, so I'm a bit worried about that. But anyway, before we...
I got told it early, Rob.
You got told. Oh, cheeky devil. Anyway, before we head to the main race, one final plug as we say to our sponsors, GT Omega. We have those lovely comfy chairs which has been provided to us by GT Omega. Thank you very much for them. Make sure that you get their products. They're really cool. You can get 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. Click the link in the description or simply use the command !GT Omega in the chat as well. We do appreciate their support through how many seasons now? It's been pretty much almost a full game cycle since we've been with GT Omega, so it's been pretty good as well, and some of the drivers have benefited from those products. So, and it's a nice sunny day in Austria, so I am very, very excited to see how well it's going to do. And no formation, that remember, so we'll get straight to the action without any warning whatsoever. So we're going to keep an eye on our screens for you.
Yeah, and hopefully there's a little bit of a delay potentially for people to get their setups on as well.
Yes.
And that might be the big thing. If people forget their setups, it's going to be a big thing. They're going to be so slow on a straight line. They're not going to have the downforce potentially out there on track. But Austria is really, I said in my tweet a little bit earlier on, who can tame the bull? And this is exactly what is going to happen. Are we going to see the drivers taming themselves out on track? And hopefully we get some good driving standards as well. But it really, really begs the question. Marketos, Kazisl Brothers and Jerry Van Bussel only separated by 4 points coming into tonight. It is anybody's guess as who could win. Volakongan there in second potentially could be a race winner elect. But watch out for that man, Jerry Van Bussel, who I said would get pole position. Now he's down in P17.
Yes, Jerry Van Bussel is usually a man who usually likes to climb up positions, doesn't he? So for qualifying, may not be the end of the world for him. He did really well last week. He's doing very well in the championship overall too. So, and don't forget Kian, of course, not have done very well in the championship this season. We would have expected him to do a lot better because of pre-season. Maybe he can climb his way up the field. It is an overtaking track as well. That is why it's been brought on the season 34 calendar, because of the overtaking spots as well. It is going to be a one-stop race, as I was saying earlier. Track limit, ERS management, I think, is going to be one of the key challenges around here. As I found out when I was doing some career mode recently, you use up so much in a few laps, you've got to save up a lot into the braking zones. And there's not many braking zones around this track, so I think they've got to be a bit wary about that.
Yeah, they're all high-speed straights around here, and you're going to be using up the majority of your battery. up the straight in towards turn number 1, turn number 3, and then down the hill and towards turn number 4, that is really where you're going to be using up your battery. And you're going to be using up in chunks. You're going to be using up at least 20, 25%, maybe even 30% on occasions as well. We are going to see, of course, how everything is going to go out on track. The drivers have been told to ready up at 35, so we have got about a minute and a half to go until we get up and ready. Max saying he wants to ready up right now. Bradders is saying and getting very confused in the chat, saying thought we were going at 35, and then I see everyone ready up. But everyone is readying up into the grid, into the actual lobby itself, so everything is still to come. We have had a lobby reset, of course, because of drivers picking up penalties as a result of illegal blocking, as a result of Monza 2019, which was absolutely remarkable in qualifying. I've never seen anything like that before, but we have only got a minute to go until the racing gets underway. So let me know, and let Jess know, and let all of us know in the commentary box who you are predicting for P1, and I'm just going to throw my prediction out there immediately. I'm going to go for Talent Factory Max, who was there, I think, in P4
PSR.
5, if I'm not mistaken. PSR, man, to take P1, and it's his first race back from holiday as well, and I think he's stronger than Kian around here. Should be one to watch out for. I'm going to go Volokongan for second, and for third, I'm going to go for... just going to pick a name at random. Sam Gamer.
I'm going to go for Kian Van Bussel, Yossi. Because I think Yossi's done well in the past as well. So I'm going to go for those top three, throw a spanner in the works. But let us know your top three. We're about to get underway. It is 35 past now, so surely the drivers will be readying up. The drivers have readied up. The 5 red lights are on. And we are go here in Austria. Yossi gets a really good start over Volokongan. He covers him off, and so does Marlon, actually, as they make their way towards turn number 1. Let's see if they can keep it clean this time, as Yossi is pawning away like no tomorrow here at the moment, and looks like they're all A-OK so far, but the most crucial part is towards turn number 3, the first heavy braking zone. Stefano tries to go around the outside of 2. Can he try to get past Volokongan? It's going to be very, very tight to get on the sweet spot, and there we go. Volokongan gets to switch back at Dreams, but we got the Red Bull. Marlon trying to go past in towards turn number 4. The famous Hamilton and Albon incident. Let's hope we don't get a repeat of that as well. Doesn't look like it. They just about keep on the road, and they try to leave as much space as they possibly can, but it's almost Marlon went off the road there. That was very, very close, but Yossi still leads. Volokongan in second, Stefano in third, and Jay Van Bussel stayed in 16th, Max in P15, Kian in 10th spot. We're just picking out our predictions here to see how they do. Let's look at these tyres though as well to see what tyres they've gone on. Only 2 people have gone on mediums. That is Markodos and Morbak. 4 people have gone into the pits. Did you see what gone on to see these 4 drivers come in?
I know for Bradders, certainly, I think he picked up damage, if I'm not mistaken. There was 3 wide down the straight in towards turn number 4. Bradders got hemmed in. He's got right side end plate damage on the inside line. It was Kazizel very late on the brakes down the inside, so that's why he's got front wing damage. As for the rest, Max is into the pit lane and is back out onto a set of medium compounded tyres, which I think is going to go 2-stop strategy. Everyone else is in 4 front wing change. Joe Van Bussel, Black Box onto a set of softs, and Bradders as well into the back lane for that set of mediums. But Yossi currently leading the way. Volokongan in second, Sam Gamer in third. Fantastic start by everyone throughout the field, but Joe Van Bussel all the way down in 18th position early on. And the big loser out of all of that, of course, was Bradders. As a result, Tim apparently had a light glitch, which is why he didn't move off the line, which is why he's a bit further back than normal. But Yossi there leading the way, Volokongan in second, Sam Gamer in third, and Sam Gamer absolutely waltzing his way through on the first lap. Now coming to the right-hander of Jochen Rindt curve and heading towards Red Bull Mobile curve at turn number 10. And he's all over the back in the AlphaTauri on the back of the Ferrari, who I've got to say is struggling in the early stages, proven by Sam Gamer's fastest lap.
Yes, those tyres are definitely getting up to temperature currently as they head towards turn 2. DRS is unable, remember, so we should start to see some overtake, and Sam Gamer could be the first to take this opportunity at the moment to the inside, but it's a really big DRS train now. It's going to be hard with the dirty air, as well as Borat is saying, no, I'm going to try and get past anyway. Now he's up into 10th place. Kazizel does the same thing and follows him through. So Kazizel is up into 11th place. Bearing in mind, Borat is on the medium, so you would expect Borat to get past very, very quickly with the pretty much softer rubber, around about 3/10 difference compared to each other, and it's about 3/10 between the soft and mediums, 3/10 between the mediums and the hards, and 6/10 between the softs and the hards. So that is a pure difference. I don't know why Black Box has gone on softs, but I'm guessing he wants to make sure he can climb up quite a bit. And the beauty of Austria, by the way, you can gain so much, even if you have to go into the pits because of how short the lap is potentially. If you have the pace and you can go on soft rubber, maybe this may not be a bad decision. We will see. But Volakongan is probably going to get a second attempt here, but he's going to go to the right-hand side through turn number 3 then. And this is the first breakdown in the corner. There he goes in the lead. Volakongan leads the Austrian Grand Prix because last week's race winner is out the race. And we got a safety car.
That was, and I think it all spawned from Stefano going into the back of Sam Gamer, Morlon going into the back of Stefano, and everyone just slammed on the brakes, Constantine it up in towards turn number 3 at Remus, and that is such a shame for Kazizel. He had contact on lap 1 with Bradders. Bradders came in the pit lane as a result of front wing damage, not Kazizel's day at all. The winner in Qatar, out of the race here in Austria, such a shame from his perspective. But then again, you can't really do anything if you all Constantine up. I have a feeling there's quite a lot of damage in the mid-pack as well, which is why the safety cars came out more for Kazizel's car, which ended up, I think, on the right-hand side, coming out of turn number 3. But we are seeing drivers into the pit lane, quite a lot of them as well, actually. Nando, Marcos, Ryan potentially all going to come in to the pit lane. Marlon certainly didn't get caught up in that. He's still fresh on, but everyone into the pit lane. Lars, Nando, Marcos, Mabawak, Kian, Tom. Some of these have picked up damage, some of these haven't. Some of these will be changing to different tyres. So remains to be seen if the two-stop is going to work. But Lars has certainly got damage. Right tail and plate damage for him. The PSL man's going to drop through the field. The Haas is double stacking as well. And OP Ryan, you've got to feel sorry for because he is stuck in behind and he's going to be wasting at least 15 seconds as a result because he's got to change his front wing end plate as well on the right-hand side. Absolute disaster for the man there down in 14th.
Yes, and I can see why a few people have come into the pits because we saw it in PSF2 as well. A safety car came, I think, a few laps earlier. A few people went on to the mediums. Some people stayed out and they were able to go on to another set of mediums straight afterwards. And if you go for the balance option, 2 set of mediums is what you get. So you'll be on the mediums for a little bit longer compared to your rivals and you could gain so much time. But for some drivers, it may be down to personal preference. They may like the hard. They may potentially prefer the hard spare to the mediums and they may want to stay longer for track position. But you can overtake a lot around it. And with the delta being so minuscule, it may come down to who has the better skill on track. But we will see. We will see if the top 7 have made the right decision to stay out. But Tom is the leading man on the mediums. One last time out when we were hit in season 33. And I did post on TikTok, I think around about March, that battle for the win of the race. And it was absolutely incredible. And if you want to know who was in the top 3 that day, Tom won. Marcos came 2nd and Max came 3rd. So we'll go through your order of where they are now. Tom's in 8th, Marcos in 12th, Max is having a bad day, he's down in 18th, but he can fight himself back by being on the mediums. Pretty much, there was a few people that got saved from that safety car. We've had no stewards reports in Qatar. Let's just say that's going to all change when we head here. I think it's going to be back to normal, unfortunately, James.
Yeah, I think it'll all change right now. I think with that contact with Kazizel on the back of Bradders, I have a feeling that will probably get reported. It was 3 wide, as I mentioned, down in towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold. Kazizel pretty much had room on the inside. He just couldn't stop, and that's why he collected, unfortunately, himself and Bradders, who's down there in 19th. He's now on a set of soft compounder tyres. As a result as well, Jerry Van Bossel, Blackhawks and Max, they went in for their first set of mediums. They're back on to their fresher set of mediums as well, which is going to be very interesting because they've already knocked a lap off on terms of those mediums. If there's another safety call later on the race and they have to transition back to those mediums once again, that is going to put at least 3, maybe even 4% tyre wear on that tyre, which means therefore they are going to be potentially worse off towards the end of the race. But that is only if we get another safety car. As, speaking of safety cars, we're going to get one in this lap. Safety car in this lap. And that's Volakonga now the virtual Bowman, now the virtual safety car. and he is going to now dictate the pace for his heart's content. Yossi in second, Sam Gamer there in third. We'll see what off the restart the guys in the centre halves can do and see if they can gap out. But Volakongan, if I was him, I'd be going right about now in towards turn number 9, a Jochen curve, because I would not try to back up the pack in towards. And there we go. He goes in towards Jochen curve at turn number 9. Volakongan getting Yossi off a little bit. Yossi had a bit of snap of oversteer, and again through the final corner. He's just on the back foot slightly, but Volakongan leads. Yossi in second, Samba Gamer in third. Everyone clean through as they come across the line. Marlon's on the back of Stefano in towards turn number 1. Might look for the move in towards turn number 3, and he certainly will look for the move now, because that was a huge moment. Code Brown for Stefano there in 5th, and now Louis Valentin and Ronadal are getting on the act as well, up the hill in towards turn number 3 Remus. Bit of a lag back there from Stefano. Here's Louis Valentin to the inside line, the Frenchman trying to waltz up the inside line, trying to get the job done. Tom in this battle as well with Ronadal. That 2x2 like Noah's Ark as they go down towards turn 4 Schlossgoal. Tom trying to look for the inside line, 3 wide once again. Alpha Male to the inside line, maybe deja vu, but not this time. Tom to the inside line, gets the job done, gets both Ronadal and Stefano now dropping like a crocodile through swamp. He's there in P8.
That was absolutely brilliant from Tom. Very calm and collected. Who said you couldn't go 3 wide in turn 4? But Tom doing a great job there. And all this moves into turn 8. And you can see Tim has got the speed of dreams on those medium tyres. He did have the start glitch, but that's not stopping him from climbing his way up the field. He's well on the gearbox of Lars even as they head towards the start finish straight. This reminded me of qualify, but this is the race now. They're all so closely tight together. And this is where we get to see the true pace of these guys, because Austria is a short track as well, as we can start to see the Haas driver making moves. Tom gets another move done past Louis up into 5th, so that's another driver he is past. Stefano and Tim fighting once again, and we also got Ryderdow and Lars fighting in front of them as well, as Ryderdow tries to get advantage of the Williams, but the Williams saying no can do, trying to go around the outside and towards turn 4, and he does it, does Tim, and he's up into 8th already. Some great comeback stories we are seeing at the moment, and it's really great to see. And Nando trying to go for a second of dreams like Daniel Ricciardo, and that was brilliant stuff from him. Up into 10th place. Don't forget a PSGL top 10 score points, and P1 gets 16 points added to his name, and Nando doing all he can to make sure he can get some points out of him as well. But the star of the show so far has been Tom, and this race is going to get a whole lot sweeter. DRS is enabled, and there's one person that's catching up like no tomorrow. One of them is Marlon, and one of them is Sam Gamer.
Yeah, I was just about to mention Marlon, right on the back of Sam Gamer up the hill. And look at Yossi as well, trying to get in the slipstream of Volakongan, but I think we're going to get too wide with Lars and Louis Valentin, at least in towards turn number 3. At Remus at the top of the hill, famously well, Leclerc got pushed off by Verstappen in the end. But Leclerc did not get a penalty that day. Verstappen was the one, I think, that did get a warning by the stewards. Tim looking to the inside line, and Louis Valentin looks to the inside line at turn number 4, gets the job done. But the guys on the centre halves are just dropping like a stone through water at this moment in time, because Kian now gets the move done on Stefano further down the field for P12, and he's looking very good, I've got to say, on the set of medium compound tyres, fighting his way through the field. Very clean racing so far as well. We can ignore the first couple of laps. This is pure and utter brilliance in terms of the racing. Everyone on the limit. Hopefully they keep this up for the next 30-odd laps or so. Ryan down the inside of Stefano into the final couple of corners. That was bold and brave and brilliant from the man in the Haas, and he's Spoonies into 15. But now Yossi all over the back of the Norwegian for the race lead. Volakongan, the Shazoo man, against Yossi, the PSR man. Sam Gamer, the Parnell racing man. Deja vu to Legacy Division next week, but Yossi now looks to the inside line on the back of Volakongan. Looks to the inside line to try and get the job done. Also Sam Gamer very late on the brakes. Collects Yossi, collects Volakongan as well. Just about gets away with it. Yossi gets the race lead, but Sam Gamer now side by side with Volakongan. Volakongan's not going to be happy with that at all, but somebody that might is Tom to the outside line in towards turn number 4. Tries to get the move around the outside. They're nearly 3 wide on the exit of the Schlossgoal. Sam Gamer, Volakongan, and Tom now to the outside line of the Pirelli curve. Surely not going to get 1. Surely not going to get 2. Gets 1, but doesn't get the other. Yossi leads. Sam Gamer's second. Tom in third. Brilliant stuff.
I have to say, bravo, pure respect to those 3 currently right there on track, as they're on 2 different strategies. And Tom is looking to repeat what he did in season 33, and he's definitely on course to do so. but he's got to get past 2 other cars. And Sam Gamer, though, I have to say, on those hards, looking so much quicker than Yossi. But we will have to see what their ERS usage. We got to keep an eye on their tyre wear too. Have they been pushing too much? Oh, we can see Tom right in the middle of this, heading towards turn number 3. And Sam Gamer takes the lead for now, but Tom tries to cut back on both of them. And can he get the lead from Sam Gamer now through down the hill? Yes, he does. What a brilliant move from Tom then. Tom leads in Spielberg. Sam Gamer in second. Yossi in third. Marlon doing a great job in fourth. And Volakonga now of all of this. He was leading in a safety car. He's dropped down to 5th place. We can see Lars and Tim fighting as well. They're on the same tyres. Surely not. They're going to go around the outside of turn 6 and 7. They were going to try it, but they backed out, which I have to say was, I think, the right decision. But Tom doing a stellar job. Where was he at the safety car restart? I think he was 6th or 7th. We do have a yellow flag, by the way. That is Max, unfortunately, who's lost it in the exit turn 7.
Yeah, ignore my prediction about Max right down there at the back of the field in 19th. I'm just going to gloss over that. Tim on the back of Volakongan. You're right, Tom, I think, was about P9 or P10, if I'm not mistaken, and that's why he's now up in P1 on that fresh set of mediums. But remember, he has to pit in again, which is going to be very interesting indeed. Here's Tim on the back of Volakongan. Volakongan on the back of Marlon. Enter on turn 4. That's way too late, shouldn't he, from Tim? Actually lags back on my screen, gets the job done on Volakongan. His connection's something to think about. Marlon now in front of him, got to be very careful from the Williams in behind. Here comes the Williams to the inside line, in towards turn 4. OP gets out a lot, trying to get the inside line is Tim. Marlon with a bit of a snap of oversteer, and that is game over for Marlon, because Tim is through and he's into 4th. Nice move there in the end, but they are so much on the limit. One mistake is going to cause absolute utter carnage out on track, and hopefully it doesn't happen. I hope, for the sake of you guys at home, this doesn't happen, because this race is bordering on absolute brilliance, and we're only on lap 12.
Yes, and safely saying, we still got more to go, which is great to see. And look at that, Tim is not giving up on Yossi then. Surely he's not going to go for the movement to turn 1, because he's going to lose out on DRS, unless... Oh, there's a bit of connection issues from him, so it's luckily not just on James's end, it's on my end too, so... Something for the stewards to watch out for, but he's going to try and go for the move anyway. Nicely done through past the MotoGP chicane. And we also got, I think, Nando, Volakongan, Marlon in this as well. We got Markados, our championship leader, out of position currently. He's trying to do something about this and climb his way up through the field. And we also got, I think, Jerry Van Bussel in there as well. Here comes Volakongan defending to the inside of 4. Does it nicely and keeps P6. Almost a tank of oversteer from Nando. Markados struggling a little bit as well to keep up with them. But I'm just starting to see, James, on Nando's back car, they're starting to run out of ERS pretty quickly. And I did say ERS management could be a factor. I didn't think it would be this early on in the race, because I thought they'll be saving up a lot of energy right now. But I think if they want to stay in that DRS train, they have to use the ERS, but it's just so hard to charge around it. So I'm guessing it could get even more of an issue as the race goes on.
Yeah, I mean, they're all stuck in the DRS train, so it is pretty hard to try and save up a bit of ERS, because you're attacking the driver in front, but you're attacking invisible air, essentially, because nobody is going to get the move done in towards turn 4 this time around, apart from Ryan on the back of Louis Valentine, who's also late on the brakes on the back of Jerry Van Bussel, the F2 winner from last season, now looking to try and get around the outside to hold on to the position for 12th, Louis Valentine in 13th, Ryan 14th, Rodadell in 15th. But back to my point, because there's nothing going to happen in towards turn 4, everyone is having to defend off themselves, but also defend off thin air, and that is why it's making this race so much more interesting. Yossi on the back of him, and Kian to the inside on. I think that was in the background into turn 6 as well. Yeah. Kian gets the job done on the back of Markados. He's through and he's into 8th position, and Kian, honestly, this is his best race of the season, no matter what happens in this race. He looks absolutely re-energized, revitalized. He wants to try and fight for the championship. This is the perfect opportunity for him in P8. And I said it earlier on in the race, I thought he looked quick. He definitely looks quick, and he's now on the back of Nando for P8.
And I have to say, the move from Talent Factory to PSR, the merger, I think maybe it's been the right decision for him. Maybe it's like going to a new school where you feel energized to potentially do well, or maybe starting a new year potentially as well at school. As Yossi gets past Tim and Marlon, I thought Tim was going to fight back there in the middle of turn 3, but look at that, Marlon saying, no, you're not going to have P4, Missy. P4 is mine. As Williams versus Red Bull, we don't see that every day, but guess where we do see it? PSGL, as Marlon is also looking energized as well, since is joining to NLR recently as well. It's all about these mergers in esports teams. As soon as they join a new team, it's just like this cloud of energy going on. It's like, boom, I'm going to do well. I want to make a good first impression for my new team members potentially, and that's what Marlon is going to try and do at least as well. Even though Tom is on the medium compounder tires, Sam is still within 1/10 clear of Tom. I'm trying to think, around about 10-11 laps on those medium tyres, we do start to see the crossover period, and that's what we're talking about here. Sam Gamer's going to look to the inside before even we head to the break inside of turn number 3. Those mediums are starting to die now, and Sam Gamer is taking advantage of that, even though he's had a bit of oversteer, so that's going to help Tom ever so slightly going down the hill. But Sam, pretty much saving his tyre life, is definitely helping it. So we got to keep an eye on Marlon and Yossi once again, because if they could start to pull away from this train of medium tyres, then maybe staying on the hards was the right thing to do. But we can see Volakongan being under pressure from Nando once again. It's like a car park on the M25. They're all keen to get past each other, or if it's like a M25Q, pretty much is what I was trying to refer to anyway. But Sam Gamer keeping his lead. He has got a podium so far this season. He is a reserve driver, so he's pretty much fighting for pride right now. Not in his championship, but if he does well, potentially, as in the ball, but he can get considered for more races to race in this tier, the higher you are in this championship.
Definitely so. Yossi on the back, by the way, Marlon. 89% of ERS coming out of turn number 1, and that's disposed of to full effect because he goes up the hill in towards turn number 3, even before he gets to Remus. He's through and he's into 3rd, and everyone's just going to sit in behind and wait. Hopefully, Jerry Van Bussel up the inside line and Mubarak as well. It's getting very close, nearly congested again in towards turn number 4. It's a bit like a traffic jam on the M25. I think that's what you were trying to say a little bit earlier on there. Jerry Van Bussel, Mubarak, Ryan as Max Matthias out of the race. I think that's in the pit lane, so that's a shame for the man there down in 19th position. I swear to honest... Of me being an honest person, I shouldn't have predicted them potentially for the top 3 at least. Blackbox and Louis Valentin, 14th and 15th as well. Blackbox through on the inside line of turn number 6. We're seeing some moves, but just off camera on my end. But brilliant racing up and down the field. But everyone, and I mean everyone, is still going to have to come into the pit lane. We are believing that everyone's going to be on a 2-stop. And there we go. There's the first one in. Volakongan into the pit lane. Set a hard compound ties. And Louis Valentin and behind on a set of hards as well. So they're into the pit lane. Very interesting stuff, but it is around the point where we said, in our notes certainly, that they would come in about lap 17, and Volakongan now onto a set of medium compound tires coming out of the pit lane, but it's all breaking loose out in front.
Tom's in the lead on those medium tyres. He had the DRS, he had the tow as well, going on in through into turn 2, but Sam could fight back here. I wonder if Tom has overtaken in just the wrong moment. It's hard to tell from my end because I don't have telemetry on, but it looks like Tom has got away A-OK with that, and he's able to stay in front. Sorry that we missed it on camera because we were trying to keep an eye on those pit stops. So what is Sam Gamer going to do? Because he's also on those hard tyres. I wonder if the ones who just peered has read your notes, James, because it said the exact time and when these drivers are coming in. If you're wondering, James, how on earth did you get the strategies? Well, if you watched, there was almost a warning as pit stops, Marlon and Kian. What's happened, James?
It was Tom round the outside of turn number 9. He actually got caught on the inside curb, got thrown wide completely. Gives Sam Gamer now a chance up the hill and towards turn number 3, and he's going to now take this to full measure because he's going to get the race lead off him. Tom, without that mistake, I think would have stayed ahead, but Sam Gamer now in the race lead. Tom in second, you'll see there in third, and as you mentioned there, Jess, nothing really happening now in terms of the overtaking, which means Marlon, Kian, Lars and Blackbox all into the pit lane, and Marlon has filtered out around about 0.5 of a second behind Volakongan. That is how powerful an undercut is around here, as Nando and Tim are side by side into turn 4.
Yes, indeed, and guess who also is in this fight as well? They're catching up Yossi as well. If I was Nano and Tim, I would work together to try and close up to Yossi, not squabble, I think, because otherwise you're going to lose more time than gaining time. So I think this is something that they need to consider just before they go into the pit lane. So will any of our top two come in? They've got to commit to the pit lane line. That's what they said in the briefing. They've got to keep on the right line. If they don't do that and cut it, then they could be sent to the stewards and we could see some time and penalties. So top four all in. Markados and Jay Van Bussel staying out. So they want to stretch out those mediums even more. Well, Black, interestingly, stays out, but he was only on those halves for 15 laps. I wonder if he's going to go on to a set of the soft compound and tyres. So Sam Gamer is out and he's ahead of Tom in the pit lane. Let's keep an eye on Volakongan then as he heads towards turn number 1. And we'll see how powerful that undercut really is. And it is very powerful. Volakongan and Marlon are ahead, but we'll see if Marlon could challenge for the lead. I believe, I'm trying to think, has he won a race in F1? I should know because I've commentated on him in the last few seasons. But here he comes then, Marlon trying to go for the lead in towards turn number 4, and beautiful move, even before the braking zone. He's up into the net race lead of this Grand Prix, and with Sam Gamer and Tom staying out, that's costing them big time. They've got to get past way more cars and try and get this race victory here. They're pretty much screwed now.
Yeah, and nearly ended up in tears, by the way. If you're wondering what my scream was for coming out the pit lane, it was Sam Gamer nearly hitting the wall on the pit lane exit. And he was so close to picking up left side end plate damage on that car. He hasn't, luckily. He's all fine. He's there on the back of Volakongan. But if that was 1 inch closer to the wall, I think he would have been coming out, potentially with Tom, right inside of him, and a bit of ghosting going on coming out of the pit lane. It's just really, really strange. But Markados, Jerry Van Bussum are back, still leading the way. The front three at this moment in time. Lap 21 out of 36. 15 laps to go. I do not know what is going to happen, but I do know Volakongan is right on the back of Marlon and towards turn number 3 again. But Volakongan, just a bit of a mistake there on the exit, got caught in the outside curve, got beached basically on that curb, and now is under pressure from potentially Sam Gamer in behind, but he's not going to get the job done this time around. Rodadon and Stefano having their own private battle ahead. But everyone's now going to filter in. It's about an 18, 19 second pit stop around here. It's the quickest pit stop, I think, in Formula 1. So Markados and Jerry Van Bussum, if they've got to commit, now, I think, into the pit lane. But they're not. They are continuing on. And I am hoping they're not going to go to the end of the race and they're only going to come in for a set of softs, as Rodadon and Stefano are in.
Yeah, so I think we're seeing the final few pit stops start to come into fruition then right now. But this is the battle that we want to see, a battle for the lead. And look at how Sam Gamer is catching on Volakongan. The battle for the win may not be over yet, and this has been great. First, we thought that the likes of Yossi could take the win. Next, it's Volakongan. Next is Sam Gamer. Next is Tom. Literally 4 or 5 drivers have been in contention for this race victory all race long, and this is a classic race for the strategy, and I absolutely love it. Speaking of Yossi, he's trying to defend from McKeon as they head towards turn number 4. Yossi is up into 9th place right now, and he's also got in a beautiful shot with this race victory. And one of the benefits of this now, most people are all on the same tyre, and it's not going to take that long for even Ryder and Stefano to get into that train as well. Even though the ones who struggled earlier on this race, they're back in this as well, and this helped with that late safety car as well. This is going to be a pure sprint to the finish, unless we get some safety cars, of course, as well. Marlon's now got some clear air as well, which should help him pull away, as it were, as well. But Sam Gamer does not want to mess around from Volakonga, but decides, you know what, I want to have some DRS coming in towards turn 3. So here he comes then. He's going to go past the MotoGP chicane. Tom's going to be brought with him. I wonder if those two are going to be working together. This is absolutely insane stuff, by the way, as Tom tries to almost... Oh, there was almost a bit of contact then towards turn 3. Tom is losing quite a few positions, and there's Yossi trying to take the full advantage and capitalise on both of them as well. Yossi could go down the inside. Tom could try to go around the outside as well. Not much contact, luckily. This is huge for Tom's race. He was in contention for the win in this race, and he could lose out massively. Through past turn 6, heading towards turn 7. It's Tom versus Yossi and Sam Gamer, and they're keeping it clean.
How How on earth have they got through that? Now Sam Gamer's coming back at both of them. Yossi, how on earth he got that job done, I do not know. Tom now completely out of sync towards everyone else. Kian's now on the back of him. How on earth they've kept that clean? They haven't picked up damage, I do not know. Testament to the drivers there. Brilliant stuff. Everyone in pretty much towards the front end of the field. Ryan into the pit lane. Jerry Van Bussel and Markedos all into the pit lane. Set a soft compound tyres on. Marlon was catching about a second and a half a lap on them. And now is going to go for the net race lead on the back of Vola Congdon. Up the hill and towards 10 before we go. And Marlon does get the job done. Tom trying to dice down the inside line of Sam Gamer as well. And somehow on the exit of the corner, comes out ahead. Brilliant move by Tom. And Kian now trying to make this 3 wide, perhaps in towards Shoshkull, the turn number 4. But Tom now ahead of Sam Gamer. Sam Gamer, they'll say, you know what? I want that position coming through on the inside line in towards 10 number 4. This is an absolute instant classic in Austria. I really hope the standards do not fall from now. I have a feeling they might as Kian tries to look around the outside line of Tom into turn number 6. This is absolutely on the edge stuff, and we've got 12 laps to go. If you want to get some popcorn right now and get on the edge of your seat, I would do that right now because we are in for an absolute instant classic here.
And I would like you guys in the chat right now to get your predictions in. I can't call it at the moment, neither could James, but we want you to get your thoughts in. Who is going to win this race? Pretty much, it could be anyone. Hardly any penalties from the drivers, unless you're Ryder Dow, who's retired in the pit lane, which is a bit of a shame. So we lost 3 drivers in this race so far. As Vola Congdon tries to get the lead from Marlon, but Nolan's saying no can do, Missy, as Vola Congdon, who's won a few times before, has struggled to settle in Tier 1 last season, but has got improved since the season goes on. We've seen that with Margados as well. He's doing a great job to fend off Marlon, but Marlon, though, has the upper advantage leading this one, and Marlon could be on for his first race win in a while in PSGL and potentially his first race in the top tier, which I have to say is absolutely crazy. And some valid points as well. Due to the Luca being a tough track to overtake, and with it being technical tracks for the next few rounds, they really need to do well here where you can overtake, because otherwise you're going to lose so much championship points if you don't do well potentially around here. The AI was just for Ryder Dow, by the way, as Yossi, I think, is caught to the back of Vola Congdon as well. We just haven't been short of action since then. The standards have been absolutely fantastic, apart from obviously the action that caused the safety car. I think that's the only thing that we were like, nah, that's not on. But apart from that, it's been absolutely amazing. Have we had any game? Oh my goodness, that made me jump, James.
Sam Gamer to the inside line, nearly made me jump out of my seat to the inside line at turn number 3, gets the job done on the back of Yossi. Now it's going to be a little bit tactical, and perhaps it's going to be all based on ERS management and who can save it up. We saw with Kazizel last week in Qatar, how he was good in terms of the ERS and how he managed to save that up to use on the final lap of the race. This is what they're going to have to do now. They're going to have to use up that ERS, try and save it up a little bit later on. Vola Congdon currently sitting in the hot seat. He's there on the back of Marlon. Marlon looks like he's going to get away at any second. Everyone's just sticking with him at this stage, all because they're in this DRS train, all because they're stuck within each other's trains as well. And that means it just makes for absolute fascinating viewing. We're on lap 27 out of 36. The final 9 laps of the race to go. Mubarak, Marlon, Vola Congdon, the top 3. Mubarak, by the way, could still stay out there on that set of hards, even though I think he's going to come for the set of soft. Take on Vola Congdon, though. On the back of Marlon to the inside line. 84% of ERS in towards turn number 3. Gets the job done. Marlon now under pressure from Sam Gamer. And look at Marlon, though, coming back at Vola Congdon. Outside line in towards turn number 4. This is absolutely ruthless action here in Austria. Looks to the outside line. Vola Congdon lets him go. And now the high-speed game of chess once again begins. Mubarak leads, Marlon second, Vola Congdon in third. This is mental.
This is absolute mental, and I have to say, I always enjoy commentating around Austria, and it delivered last season in PSF1 when it was on F1 22, and it's definitely delivering here. It's just probably because it's PSF1. We were a bit worried about the driving standards, to be fair, but I think it's a lot better than predicted, but we still got to think about 7 or 8 laps to go, so we can't count our chickens just yet. Still a lot can happen, as Murray Walker would say, in the final few stages. I'm just trying to see if there's any predictions in the chat. And Daniel's saying Marlon for the win. Well, he's currently winning right now. He's catching up to the back of Mubarak, but he's under threat for Volakonga through turn 3. Sam Gamer's right in the middle of this as well. Can Sam Gamer capitalise on this? As Marlon almost makes a mistake, Volakonga leads, and Sam could get Marlon, and Marlon could lose 2 places because of it. And I think Sam could try and get Volakonga too as well. To the outside. Oh, a bit of contact there for both Marlon and Sam. But Sam holds it together, and he's up into a net P2. A shame for Marlon, but brilliant for Volakonga and Sam. Volakonga is pulling away ever so slightly as well. Who said that this race can't get any better? It's getting a lot better, and also there's one driver that's looking very good and could get past Marlon as well, and that is Yossi. Yossi is still in contention for this race victory. Don't forget he started on pole after a dramatic qualifying which saw a Monza 2019 reenactment, I have to say, but I think without that what happened, that we probably wouldn't get that action. We probably still would have got that action, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Marlon's going to try and look on another attack to get into P2 past Sam Gamer, but it doesn't look like he's going to do so at the moment.
Definitely not. And do you know what? Mubarak's tyres are now, as Tim tyres there in the pit lane. Jerry Van Bussel and Marquez are having their own private battle. But look, I was about to say, on the set of soft compounded tyres, they're only 2.9 seconds off. Yes, they're at a disadvantage down the straight as Marquez now gets moved on Jerry Van Bussel once again. But they are now at a big advantage. They've got that sort of soft. Can they make it, though, to the end before those tyres wear out? And before they get to the end, to the back of the train where Black Box and Bradders is? I don't know. If they fight like that, they're not. But if they utilise their tyres up to good effect, they can get on the back and maybe even make a few positions through the field as well. But back to Mubarak out in front. He's still going out there on track. It's going on to lap 30. He's on 25 lap old hard. We're going to talk about the famous P word, I think, in puncture territory from Mubarak very soon. But he is now holding up the whole train of cars. Top 12 are separated by, 4 or 5 seconds at this stage. As Sam Gamer now looks on the back of Volakonga. Mubarak looks the inside line. It's a 3 wide towards Remus. Sam Gamer looks to the inside line, but Volakonga hangs on for the race lead. Sam Gamer in second, Mubarak in third, and Mubarak's surely got to sink through the field like an absolute stone. Marlon, though, to the outside line of him. Sam Gamer a little bit exit. Oh, a little bit contact down the straight. As Mubarak now attacks Sam Gamer. Don't know what the Aston Martin's thinking, but the Padgo tries to get the job done on the inside line. It's now 3 wide, nearly coming out of turn number 4. Sam Gamer ahead of Mubarak. Here comes Marlon to the outside line, in towards turn number 6 at Pirelli curve. Shooting the fresher tyres are going to make brilliant move. If he can pull this one off. No, he can't. He's around the outside still through the reverse curve at 7 and 8. Now looks to the inside line. Yossi involved in this battle as well. This is absolute mania metal out on track. Marlon and Mubarak still side by side into turn number 9. And Marlon finally through. Yossi through. Mubarak there dropping through. Volakonga lead. Sam Gamer second. Marlon there in third. Mubarak's going to cause a whole heap of trouble in the mid-pack. He and right on the back of Tom. Looks to the inside line in towards turn number 1. But he can't. I'm losing my voice. I don't care. Volakonga leads. Sam Gamer second. Marlon in third. And there's still 3 wide coming out of turn 1.
Yes, 3 wide into turn number 1 already for the likes of Kian and Tom as well. Look at this, Tom.
No.
Could be a hang on. How was that not a pile up through turn number 3? That was crazy. That just shows that the standards have improved a little bit, but this could go. No. Too soon. We spoke too soon. Yossi has lost his safety car. Yossi is out this race, and we thought that the driving standards were good at the moment. Well, we saw people going 3 wide there, and you just can't. You can't afford to take that risk. But the ones on the softs could be huge at this stage. And I've seen Mubarak has dropped to 6th out of all of that because of what happened. By the way, I was trying to follow everybody through that battle, and it was quite hard. The cameras were absolutely awful, by the way. But is anyone going to think about pitting? Sam Gamer's in.
Has he got damage on the right end plate? I'm just trying to look.
It's hard to tell, that is. Really hard.
It's on the winglet if it is, but everyone's decided to come in behind, so it doesn't really make a difference. He's going to be on a set of softs towards the end of the race. But Sam Gamer into the pit lane. I was convinced he had a little bit of right end plate damage on the car. He doesn't, luckily. And he's back out on a set of soft compounded tyres, so I must just be seeing things. Volakonga leading the way, Marlon in second, Nando there in third. They are the only 3 that have decided to stay out. Everyone in on a set of soft compounded tyres. But yeah, back to what we were saying. You literally said, really, when the contact was made, driving standards cannot get any better. And then they have a 3-wide collision. It was Kian, it was Jerry Van Bussel, I think, and I think the other one involved in it was Stefano, if I'm not mistaken. It was very, very strange, that collision. It was down the straight and towards turn number 3. It's almost mirrored Fernando Alonso, remembering Coulter back last season. Almost mirrored that in towards turn number 3, but that's what happens when you try and rush for a move. Kian, I think, was the one trying to go for that move out of turn number 3, down the straight in towards turn number 4, and he might be the one that gets a portion of the blame in that. I was on board with most of that, if not all of it, and Kian looked to me as if he was getting a little bit greedy, trying to go for the moves that are not necessarily going to be his. And, I mean, judging by the great racing standards that we've had, everyone just piling into each other down the straight, it was bound to happen. And that's what happens when you're all on tenterhooks. We're on tenterhooks in the commentary box. All of the drivers are on tenterhooks out on track. And all of them now, this safety car resets them, hopefully in a good way, and hopefully they can continue the good standards of driving that we've had throughout the race.
Yeah, so let's have a look at your order currently at the moment as Volokongan leads, Marlon in second, Nando in third, and Sam Gamer is your lead soft tyre runner then at the moment. And the ones on those medium tyres, they're going to be in a bit of a squabble, but we have seen it before, haven't we? People who stayed on the mediums managed to keep it there, but it is Austria. Austria is the land where pretty much these guys could overtake for England. So I think we're bound to see overtakes. 3 tenths of a difference compared to everybody else. Make sure you fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be probably a crazy end to this race. And let us know your thoughts in the chat on who you think is going to win this one.
Put it this way, Jess, I'm going to have to get this lumbar support behind me and actually rip it and put it around my chest to try and keep me on this chair, because it is going to be so much more interesting the final 3 laps of the race.
Safety
car in this lap. And remember, DRS does not come on until the final lap of the race, and that is only down in towards turn number 4 as well. So that is the first point of big DRS. But Volokongan now virtual Berbalanda, he's now virtual safety car, Marlon second and Nando in third. Nobody can call how this race is going to go, but what we can say for confidence, Marquez has got a 3-second time penalty.
Yes, I think was it the first 3-second time penalty? I think. We've seen in a while actually in this race.
Yeah.
So that probably explains it then with what's just happened. So again, let us know your thoughts on who you think is going to win this one. We are about to get underway for this safety car restart as Volokongan pulls away from the rest of the field then on those medium tyres, and it's a whole train of cars. Sam Gamer trying to get past Nando. He does it. That's one car that he's got past. Now he's got to get past 2 other cars. Tom is going to be trying to do exactly the same thing as they go up the hill towards turn number 3. Let's hope that this can keep it clean. That's 2 the inside. Nicely done from Tom. Nando's going to try and do something similar to try and defend, but no can do. Mulbrag, his teammate, gets past as well. And all Sam Gamer trying to go for the switchback of dreams. Nicely done from Sam. He gets past Volokongan as well. It's going to be so tight.
Looks the outside line at turn number 6. Brilliant move, only spot him. Volokongan round. He just caught off on the clipper heels coming around the outside of turn number 4. That is such a shame for Sam Gamer. Tom now in second, Mubarak there in third. Volokongan did not deserve that, but Sam Gamer looked to have 99% of that move done. That 1% was the contact. So unfortunate for Volokongan. He could have been up there. Sam Gamer now leads, Tom in second, Mubarak there in third. And Mubarak now, the pad gold, somehow landed himself in a position for potential podium in this race as well. All hell for leather in behind, but Sam Gamer leading the way from Tom in second, Mubarak there in third. The contact was going to happen, but Sam Gamer, as I said, from my camera angle, certainly, he looked like he had 99% of that move done. Just that 1% was the bit of contact and a little bit of movement under the brakes in towards the left-hand return number 6. But Sam Gamer now leads, Tom in second, Mubarak in third, but there's going to be potentially a black and white flag overhanging the man out in front if Volokongan does report that, and I have a feeling he probably will, as Black Box to the inside line of Marcadors tries to get the job done. Kian involved in that contact battle as well. Ryan side by side, Joe Van Bussel side by side in the background of shot as they look to the inside line through turn number 6, but in the end, Van Bussel just about gets out on top, and somehow, apart from Kian making a little bit of contact there, everyone got clean through onto the final lap, and Sam Gamer a little bit Tokyo drifting through the final corner there.
And I think that's going to allow Tom to catch up. Oh no! What's got a penalty? Well, Burak has got a penalty, but that's not going to stop her to try and get past anyway. Sam Gamer versus Tom for the race victory. And look who also in the fray as well. Louis could be on course for a podium in PSF1, which could be an amazing feat for him. The final chance for people to get past into turn 3. More Black almost looked towards turn 3 on the inside. He's purple sector 1, so he is quick. Brad gets past as well. Tom's going to try and get past in towards turn number 4. Almost a bit short of oversteer there as Tom gets the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. We saw it 1 season ago where he got the victory from Marcados and Max, and he's done exactly the same to what we saw a season ago, and he's looking like history is going to be repeating itself as Marlon has had enough with Volakongen. We'll talk that in just a minute, but I have to say, driver of the day has got to be Tom. Stellar job from him all race. More Burak tries to get Sam, but Tom wins in Austria. Sam in 2nd, Louis in 3rd, more Burak 4th, Brad is in 5th, Lars in 6th, Bustle in 7th. And we got Stefano, Nando, and Ryan, your top 10. I need a bit of a lie down.
And breathe, everyone. Marlon in 15 coming across the line. He got caught up in contact, I think it was, with, and I can't remember, it was in P5, P6. I'm going to rewind that back very quickly on the stream, just so it was Bradders he made contact with on the exit. Bradders trying to look for the outside line in towards turn number 6. Marlon, unfortunately, got caught very similar to the Sam Gamer incident, but it is that man, once again, pretty much deja vu to last season, season 33, where he took the race win on the final lap. Famous TikTok clip of that as well, posted on Jess's TikTok. If you do want to catch that, he's carrying an Estonian flag, which is very, very strange indeed. Don't know why he would carry an Estonian flag, but regardless, the Brit, Shazoo Tom, comes out on top here in Austria. Have a feeling there's going to be a lot of stewards reports after that one. For at least 2/3 of that race, it was clean, it was fair, it was right on the limit, but it was absolutely brilliant. And I was going to swear there, and I'm refraining myself from doing it, but Tom takes the win, and in the end, he absolutely deserves that. But anybody could have won that.
Yeah, anyone could have won that one, and that's how close it was. But
P20! From P20 on the grid!
I know! P20 on the grid as well!
Mad!
I know! Tom, definitely a driver of the day. Last to first in Austria. I didn't... That was out of my brain. That was out of my brain there. But that first safety car helped him. There's your results. We don't have time to go through all of that, but we've got Tom Gamer and Louis, your podium position. I'm sorry about that. I think me and James were in disbelief about what just happened there. But yeah, that was quite crazy. I'm trying to remember if anyone else has won from last in Austria before. I'm trying to remember. I could see James sweating in the background. Oh, let's just say to me, I've been sweating and I have been driving. So that's how brilliant it was. But Tom has got to be driver of the day, but you got to feel for the likes of Yossi and Volakongen.
Oh yeah, definitely. So to round off the top 10, by the way, Tom had on top, Sam Gamer 2nd, Louis there in 3rd. It was Mubarak 4th, Brad is 5th, Lars, Jerry Van Bossel, Stefano, Nando, and Ryan, the top 10. Then Black Box, Kian, Marcados, Volakongen, and Marlon, who all finished in the top 15. Yossi, Tim, Radadal, Max, and Kazizel, the 20 drivers, 5 of them DNFing in the end. But yeah, absolutely insane racing. As you can tell, I've got a sweat on, and we've put in a real shift, I've got to say, to be honest, here tonight in F1. Absolutely brilliant. But Tom, P20 on the grid, the only reason that I thought he might win that race was potentially in terms of that the final lap. Saving up that ERS, he had 19% of ERS coming out of the final, out of the first sector, coming in towards turn number 3. Used that all to good effect. He was so quick in a straight line as well before that. Even in the final 10 laps of the race, he was very quick when overtaking around the outside of turn number 4. And Sam Gamer could not cope with that. And in the end, all of that pays. One mistake, as I say, could be the difference between winning and losing. One mistake cost Sam Gamer, and in the end, brought Tom the victory.
Yes, and hopefully we get to hear from Tom in the rating room as well, in the interviews, to see how he feels as well. We will ask as well. Let us know who your driver of the day is as well. And let's just say, just to put it into perspective, Tom is not a full-time driver this season, because obviously he's a busy man. He's got stuff that he's been doing. He's reserve driver. He's had nothing to lose in this championship. He could just go out there, have a little bit of fun, and that's probably what helps him tonight, because he's got nothing to lose. Surely if a full-time seat comes up and he wants to, like, rejoin or something like that, surely he'll be the first driver to be like, yeah, I'll do it. But I think there's some occasions where he'll be like, I kind of want to be reserved just for seasons like this, because he doesn't have that much pressure. And sometimes when you have little pressure, that's where you perform well. And I think that's why Tom also got the win, because he had little to no pressure tonight. He's not in championship contention because he's a reserve.
He isn't, and he's just said in the chat he's been inspired by you, Jerry, because Jerry, of course, did that, I think, at F2 last season, if I'm not mistaken, from P16 up to P1 in that race. And, I mean, Jerry offering GG there in the chat as well, which is just fantastic. Come to show the love that these guys actually do have for each other, even if they've gone at each other's throats for 36 laps in Austria. But we are going to hear from Tom. He's currently sitting there in the waiting room, so whenever you want me to bring him over, that is the case. Evil Master saying last the first crazy stuff, put everyone on pack watch. Totally agree, I think, with that. Totally agree. And Vola Kongan deserving a podium there. Yeah, couldn't agree more, I think, with that as well. We've now brought the man who sits in P1 into our chat. And Jess, do you want to take this one, or shall I?
I'll let you take this one, because I did that last season. So over to you, James.
Thank you very much, Jess. And we've now been joined, of course, by the man who finished in P1. It is Mr. Shazoo Tom from P20 on the grid. First of all, Tom, can you hear us?
Yeah, but it's a bit quiet. 1 sec. Wait, I've just turned it up. It's fine now.
You're fine now. It's just on your end. I think I needed to turn it up.
Yeah.
But it's fine. P20, though, up to P1 on the grid. Talk us through that and talk us through the race, because that was just pure and utter madness, I think, that we've just witnessed.
Well, I mean, battle quality, that's just it's a usual occurrence. But in the race, I just avoided the carnage at the start. And then I don't even know that the first safety car I avoided by like putting the hairpin completely. Then I pitted and came out like at the front of the medium runner somehow. And I don't really know how that happened. I just must have jumped everyone in the pits. But
Damage.
They must have all had. And I didn't, so yeah, I got that like gifted me a goated strategy, because I was like P7 on the mediums. Then the tyres were much better than the guys ahead, so I just overtook them all. Me and Sam worked together getting away from the group, but then we probably pitted 1 lap too late and allowed them to, Marlon and Vola, to get past us, and then probably got lucky with the safety car at the end. But, I mean, those like with Yossi, I sort of tapped him, and then I was like, I thought it was a bit of a push to pass. I was about to let him back through, and then that incident like happened behind me, like the crash on the straight, which I'm not sure what happened. So, yeah, I guess we'll see with that one. But glad to get the win on the last lap. Unfortunate for Vola Kongan spinning, but that kind of helped me win, because I just got right into Sam's DRS. And yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of that, in terms of getting into Sam's DRS, you were, what, I think 5 or 6 tenths back coming out of turn number 1, then close that up to, what, 3 tenths of a second. And then I think I clocked you about having about 20% of your ERS coming out of the turn 3 at the end of sector 1. All of that speed and that downforce came into good use. What was your setup like in that race? Was it complete downforce, or was it just a mix of the both?
I think it had quite high downforce, but because Sam seemed to have more ERS than me most of the time, but I don't know, maybe I was just using it in the wrong places because at the end of the race, I had decent straight line speed. I think we were actually all quite similar on straight line speed, except for Mobarak, who I think was much faster. But yeah, the downforce probably helped make some overtakes, like some like the braking and that. But yeah, we all had similar setups, but I guess I don't really know.
Yeah, we don't really know what happened in that race, to be honest, as well.
And we
Certainly from
commentated
our
it.
end. Well, we commentate on that, and it was absolute pure and utter madness, and it was brilliant. Obviously, from P20 to P1 on the grid, this lands yourself now in a really good position, but even potentially for full-time seat, because of course you're a reserve going forward for the rest of the season. And as a reserve winning this in PSF1, does that prove to you that A, you've still got it, which you clearly have, and B, I've just absolutely froze. I don't know what I was going to say. But yeah, answer the first part, anyways.
Well, I'd like to say thanks to Big C for even putting me as a reserve because I've had no wheel. I sent my wheel back to get fixed, so I didn't actually do lap times for the sign-ups, and he put me as reserve. And so that's why I missed the first round, and I was sort of behind in terms of like everyone had been playing the game for like 3 or 4 weeks before I started playing it, and I didn't really have motivation to come back. But yeah, and then tonight, I'd say the last couple of days, maybe yesterday I did a race, and I felt like I had good pace in the race there. So I finally thought I was actually like coming back and finding the pace. And then I didn't think I was racing, but then Jensen backed out. Thanks to Jensen, Jensen backed out. Well, I mean, he had a reason to back out, but
You
I
only
still
found
thanked him
out this
anyway.
afternoon, didn't you?
I only found out I was racing this afternoon, so I started doing laps at like 6 or 5 p.m. And then in like the last session I did a good lap and I felt really confident. And then, yeah, the quali happened, so I just had to send it in the race.
Well, you well and truly sent it in the race, and I mean, for what 2-3 hours worth of practice, I think it absolutely suits you very well down for an absolute T. P20 to P1. Congratulations on the race win, Tom. Jess, any questions?
Well, I have to say, congratulations. You must be an Austrian merchant because you've done pretty much exactly the same last season, fighting for the win there. Even though you were a reserve this season, obviously you realised that the calendar was announced for the next few rounds. Talk us through your opinions on the calendar. Are there any tracks that you like and any tracks you don't like?
Well, I mean, I need to hope for a seat, so I don't know which ones I'll be doing if the attendance is like today, but
But imagine if you had a seat for all of them. What track would you like to race on? Which tracks don't you like?
I like Jeddah and I like Spa, but I don't like Japan or Mexico.
I could
That's a
back
pretty
you
good
up on
answer.
Jeddah, let's just say that.
Yeah, hopefully that goes like it did last season. That'd be nice. But yeah,
That's my questions, James.
just whenever I can get a seat, I'll try my best in it.
Yeah, I hope he gets a seat in Jeddah because I've seen him finish what 100th of a second beside Jensen once in a different league, which I'm not going to mention on this live stream because I've already got wrong for it. But yeah, Tom, congratulations on the race win. Go and enjoy Ethan.
Thank you guys, and yes, thank you.
You are very welcome indeed. And we're now going to get the man who finished in P2 in. Give me a second. There he is. Hopefully he'll be able to hear us. It is Mr. Sam Gamer. And Sam, in the end, P2 out on track. Talk us through it. And first of all, can you hear us more importantly?
Yeah, can you hear you guys? The race was good. The start was a bit hectic, but I managed to pull it out on the outside and try to get some momentum into turn 3 and keep it on track. And then from there, I was just trying to, keep in touch with the front and try to CVRS as much as I can. and try to, stay focused on behind as well, just in case there's some moves. And yeah, we went for the normal strategy, and we wanted to stay out one more lap and try to get a bit more fresher tires than the others behind, to save more ERS and try to overtake them at the right time. But yeah, a few uh, a few moves that were on the limit, but clean enough in my opinion. So yeah, and the safety car at the end that changed a bit the race for some people, and yeah, I just decided to instantly pit for soft and make sure to go for the moves on the people that stayed on the medium, and then yeah, just be careful with the people behind as well. And it all played out perfectly, but I think I used too much ERS on the last lap, and then Tom had the advantage there with a bit more ERS and the DRS as well, with the slipstream being very powerful in this game. So yeah, pretty much it's an okay race. I think the results are pretty much provisional for now, so we'll see what the reports bring. And yeah, happy with the race.
Yeah, very happy with the race. Of course, P2 provisionally. Hopefully, nothing gets reported in from your perspective. I know you had an incident, I think, with Volakongan around the outside of turn number 6. And
Yeah.
then I think just chopped them up very, very late on in the day. It was, as I say, 99% of the move done. 1% was just that little bit of contact. And I think that's how that can be certainly transcribed, I think, in part of that. But talk us through, especially the battle that you have in the final 4 laps of the race, because I was convinced that you were going to drop outside of the points with everyone not pitting in behind. Everyone then decided to pit
Yeah.
in behind. You were only left with 3 runners ahead of you on a set of mediums, and they were pretty easy pickings, to be honest.
I was really surprised that a lot of people pitted. I expected like at least half of the field to stay with medians and to try just to fend off as much as possible the soft runners. But when I saw there was only like, I think it was 3 medium runners, right? Yeah, and I was like, maybe this is gonna be more easier than I thought. So yeah, with the move on the Volakongan, the Ferrari, I think I left enough room. It just was unlucky with the understeer, and the contact model doesn't help either. But yeah, we'll see both our POVs, and I think it was fine, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see what this is gonna bring later on. But yeah, overall, very happy.
Yeah, I saw it from your perspective as well when I was commentating on it, and it looked as if it was rear wheel on front right contact, I think, with Volakongan. So it was literally very minimal. But as you say, the contact model is a little bit different compared to the previous games. You can't really get away with mistakes like that. So we have to wait and see, of course, in terms of the stewards on that one. Jess, coming across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, so I asked the same things that I did to Tom. You obviously are reserved this season, but if you were to race for the rest of the season with the tracks that we've got remaining that are announced, are there any tracks that give you particular attention? Is there any tracks you like or dislike on that calendar?
Well, to be honest, the first thing comes to mind, Suzuka. I don't know why, but with this game, I'm not up to pace yet. But yeah, I'm more looking forward to Imola, Spa, and Jeddah.
Ooh. Jeddah seems to be, I think, a popular track for a lot of the PS drivers. Tom said one of them. I don't know why they think that, because I absolutely hate racing Jeddah. But I love commentating, so it makes me looking forward to Jeddah even more now, James.
It does for me as well. I love commentating around Jeddah. I'd rather be in the commentary box for that than actually racing out on track. And actually, final question from me, Sam, just before we let you go. How is the move to Parnell Racing going? Because I know it's been talked about quite a lot. How is it going for you?
Yeah, it's going well. So far, so good. Everyone has been very welcoming, so that's really appreciated. And then, yeah, so far this race was really nice, and I had Lion Parnell himself engineering me, so yeah, that was quite nice. And then, um, yeah, looking forward to what the future bring with Parnell Racing.
Definitely, you are more than capable to produce really good standard driving. We've seen that tonight, P2. We've seen that throughout the season. We've seen that even in the past in commentary as well. And
Appreciate
good luck for the rest of the future for Parnell Racing, certainly. And good luck for the rest of the season. P2 out on track. Go and enjoy your afternoon or evening, I think.
Afternoon here. Yeah.
Yeah, go and enjoy your
Thank
afternoon.
you. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for commentating. See you next time.
Cheers, Sam.
Very welcome indeed. And that rounds off the interviews because Louis Valentine, unfortunately, said his English is not that good, so he will not be joining us.
That is a shame, but I have to say, let's talk about our thoughts for Louis for the minute before we head off. I think we didn't know what to expect with Louis. He did some really great moves as well, and he was just there in all the right places. Again, avoided the carnage like Tom, and he picked up the results where he needs to be as well. It's a great performance for him in the top tier. I think I was hoping he would get a good result eventually, but tonight he's definitely shown that.
Honestly, I thought it was a bit of an underdog performance from Louis. I mean, he qualified, what, P15 out on track?
Yeah.
Got lucky with the safety cars, yes, but P15 up to P3, he'd be very, very happy with that. And if you told the man who's been in F1 Esports Challenges he would get a P3 in PSGL, he'd probably come and have your hand off, I think. And it's literally so good, I think, for his perspective. Of course, it's all provisional. These results probably will change as well, certainly with one of our top tier, I think. But Louis Valentine in third, just proving as well, yes, he got lucky in that race, but yes, he's a good driver. Every single person in F1 is a brilliant driver. We saw that for 2/3 of the race. We saw how on the limit, but absolute brilliant the battling was. Repeating, I think, putting Qatar potentially in the wash. Austria was so much better than Qatar in terms of the racing, and hopefully we can have more again. It's Japan next week, though. Jess, how on earth are the drivers going to cope with that? And they've got to look potentially for inspiration in me finishing P4.
Yeah, so before we go to watch your race, I've been thinking, how on earth did James do that? But yeah, Japan is next week. 1 DRS zone. Only a few potential spots for overtaking, but of course we've got the infamous 130R and heading towards the Casio Triangle where we saw some glorious battles in the past, and also a potential rain showers could be expected because that's what we saw last year in real life. We saw a red flag, which luckily red flags are off at PSGL, so at least we won't see that, but in real life, I wasn't very happy that I wasted an hour of my life because there was a red flag on. But yeah, we got Japan next week, and we got Imola the week after. We got Spa, Jeddah, and Mexico for round 10. Then we got 2 more rounds to follow after that to be confirmed. And Connor confirmed earlier on that it's not going to be Singapore. So Singapore may be on for season 35, but not this season. So yeah, I think they're going to keep us hanging on where we think we're going to race at this point towards the end of September, October. So again, we'll have to wait and see. But if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on this video, hit subscribe, and hit that bell if you are new. Also check out our sponsors, GT Omega. Look at these chairs, they're beautiful. You can get 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code Sorry, I'm losing my chain of thought here. You can tell it's been a crazy race in Austria. By using the code PSGL at checkout, you can use the !GT Omega command as well. Follow us on Twitter at PremierSimGL on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on Discord as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube, on whatever. Follow us on Twitter as well. Our Twitter accounts are in the camera screen somewhere. You'll find us out at some point. But for myself and James, we're going to recover after a crazy race. I think we can't even speak. So until next week, have a good evening. Take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.
He's got the inside, all here is through, on the left-hand side, hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. You know what we're now, to the last couple of corners now, his finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jan Ortmir wins the US